The Grenada Bankers Association will embark on a number of public education measures this year in light of concerns from the general public. Newly elected president of the association, Keith Johnson, managing director of Republic Bank Grenada Limited, spoke with GBN about the association's plans for 2018.
There is still the perception out there that the banks are not friendly towards customers in terms of the requirements for various services, interest rates and fees. So we think that if the public were a little more acquainted with the background to those requirements and the need to have certain fees and charges in place and the way our interest rates are structured, then, to say wisdom is knowledge.
He outlined some of what they intend to do to educate the public.
So what we plan to do is work with other stakeholders, for example, the Financial Intelligence Unit, to have some sensitization sessions, mostly through the media, and some of it might be even in-house, to advise customers as to the rationale for all the various regulations, and to get their support, to get their buy-in, that this is not something the bank is doing to make their lives difficult, which I think a lot of customers actually have that view. It is not in our interest to do that. As a matter of fact, it makes our life difficult too, having to comply with all these regulations, but comply we must.
Speaking to the recent blacklisting of Grenada by the European Union, Johnson said that what needs to be understood is that a blacklisting of Grenada is the overall issue. He said if financial institutions don't adopt and apply all the necessary regulations, the country could be blacklisted. He stressed the need for customers' compliance with regulations imposed by law.
The biggest challenge really is, I think, the regulation, which comes from all these international organizations which say that you must have certain minimum standards and there are certain requirements you must have in order to avoid certain unpleasant incidents occurring. And I speak to specifically money laundering and terrorist financing.
Johnson said that a number of regulations that the banks are forced to comply with began some 15 years ago, starting with Know Your Customer to anti-money laundering laws and terrorism financing have now moved to almost monthly amendments to regulations they must comply with. Cherri-Ann, Blackman-Stephen, GBN News.